When the siren started screaming, everyone else ran. I didn't. That wasn't bravery. It wasn't heroism. It was shock, the kind that locks your muscles and leaves your mind drifting while the universe decides whether you're about to keep breathing. The sky above New Carthage split open like a wound. At first, it looked like a storm. Purple lightning crawled across clouds that hadn't been their seconds before, spiraling inward toward a point that bent light itself. Gravity lurched. Windows shattered outward. The air tasted like metal and ozone. Then she arrived. She didn't descend so much as manifest. One moment there was nothing, and the next there was a figure hovering above the city plaza, suspended in a column of distorted space. People screamed. Vehicles crashed. Defense drones fired uselessly, their energy bolts dissolving before they reached her. Every screen in the city, every billboard, every wrist display, every neural implant flickered to the same warning. Omega-class entity detected. Threat level. Extinction. I remember thinking that the system had to be wrong. Because she was beautiful. Not in a human way. Not soft or comforting. Beautiful like a supernova, something so overwhelming your brain struggles to process it. She stood nearly 3 meters tall, her form sleek and angular, clad in what looked like living obsidian armor that flowed like liquid and locked into sharp, elegant lines. Her skin glowed faintly beneath it, etched with luminous sigils that pulsed in slow, predatory rhythms. Her eyes were stars collapsing into black holes. Later, I would learn her name, Caliph Vera, last sovereign of the Ashen bloodline, devourer of systems, executioner of civilizations. At that moment, all I knew was that she was the most dangerous being alive. And she was looking straight at me. The plaza had emptied in seconds. Emergency teleporters screamed as they overloaded. I stood alone near the central transit spire, a junior xenolinguistics analyst who'd been on lunch break when the end of the world showed up. Her gaze locked onto mine. The noise stopped. Not faded. Stopped. As if the universe itself had paused to listen. She descended slowly, boots touching the ground without sound. The stone beneath her feet crystallized, unable to withstand her energy signature. Heat radiated from her body in waves, but I felt cold, deep, bone-aching cold. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. She walked toward me, each step deliberate, measured. I could see the faint shimmer around her hands, fields capable of tearing molecular bonds apart. This was the being who had shattered the Kryn Armada in under 3 minutes. The one whose arrival alone had forced the United Systems Council into permanent emergency session. She stopped less than a meter away. I expected pain. Death. Oblivion. Instead, she spoke. You, she said, her voice layered, as if multiple tones existed at once. You will come with me. That broke the spell. What? I croaked. Her head tilted slightly, a gesture that would later haunt my dreams. You have been chosen. Around us, time snapped back into motion. Sirens resumed. Explosions echoed in the distance as orbital defenses finally reached the city. I laughed, a hysterical sound I didn't recognize as my own. You picked the wrong person. I'm nobody. Her eyes flared, the sigils on her armor brightening. No one is nobody. She raised a hand. The world folded. When reality returned, I was on my knees. The ground beneath me was not stone or metal but something organic, dark, veined, faintly warm. The air smelled ancient, heavy with unfamiliar particles. Gravity felt slightly off, like the universe had misjudged my weight. We were inside her ship, if you could call it a ship. The chamber stretched impossibly far in all directions, its walls curving in ways that hurt to look at. Veins of crimson light pulsed through the structure, responding to her presence, like a living organism recognizing its heart. I scrambled backward, my hands slipping against the slick surface. Where am I? Within the Noctyrix, she said. My vessel. My domain. I looked up at her, towering above me. Why am I here? She turned away, walking toward what I assumed was a command dais grown from the floor itself. Because your species stands at a convergence point. That's not an answer. It is the only one you are permitted. I pushed myself to my feet, my legs shaking. You can't just abduct people. There are laws, treaties, she laughed. The sound was like glass breaking in slow motion. Your laws do not bind me. She placed her hand against the ship's core. The entire vessel thrummed in response, and suddenly the chamber shifted. The walls became transparent, revealing a panorama of stars streaking past as we entered faster than light transit. My stomach dropped. You're taking me off-world. Yes. You realize Earth will consider this an act of war. She glanced back at me, amused. Earth already exists in a state of war. You are simply unaware of it. I swallowed. Then why me? She studied me again, more intently this time. I felt exposed, as if she were peeling back layers of my mind. Because you are an anomaly. I analyze alien languages, I said. I don't fight. I don't command fleets. I barely matter. Incorrect, she replied. You are one of the few humans whose neural patterns resonate with the echo field. I don't know what that is. You will. The ship lurched, and the stars vanished. The Ashen Reach was nothing like human space. Stars there burned darker. Their light filtered through nebulae that shimmered with unnatural colors. Massive structures, some artificial, some grown, floated in silent orbits, remnants of civilizations long dead. This region was once ruled by my kind, Caliph said, standing beside me as we observed the view. Before the galaxy learned to fear us. Alien vampires, I muttered. Her lips curled slightly. A crude term, but not entirely inaccurate. We walked through corridors that rearranged themselves at her approach, responding to her will. I felt like prey being escorted deeper into a predator's lair. Your species believes power must be shared, she continued. Mine believes power must be contained. Contained by whom? I asked. By those capable of wielding it. We entered a chamber dominated by a massive crystalline structure suspended in midair, rotating slowly. Within it I saw flashes, memories, cities burning, stars going dark, entire worlds collapsing into dust. I staggered. What is that? The crucible, she said. It is why I am dangerous. I turned to her. Then why bring me here? She faced me fully, her eyes blazing. Because the crucible is failing. The crystal cracked, a faint fracture spreading across its surface. When it breaks, she continued, everything my kind sealed away will return. My heart pounded. You're saying you're holding back something worse than you? Yes. And you think I can help? She nodded once. You can interface with it. That's impossible. I'm human. That, she said softly, is precisely why. Over the following cycles, days, maybe weeks, time blurred aboard the Noctyrix. She tested me. She exposed me to fragments of the Crucible's memories, guided me through alien symbology older than Earth itself, and forced my mind to adapt to concepts that made my head ache and my vision blur. I learned the truth. The Ashen bloodline hadn't been conquerors by nature. They had been wardens, created to seal away a primordial force known as the Void Choir, entities that fed on reality itself. The Crucible was a prison forged from their collective will. But Caliph was the last. Every other warden had fallen, consumed or driven mad by the burden. Alone, she was failing. I could have let it break, she admitted one cycle as we stood before the crystal. Watched the galaxy burn. Why didn't you? She was silent for a long time. Because even monsters can choose. I looked at her, really looked at her, not just the terror, the power, but the exhaustion etched into every controlled movement. And you picked me to help you hold it together. Yes. Or to replace you, I said. Her eyes softened, just a fraction. If necessary. Fear gripped me. You're asking me to become what you are. I am asking you to become what the galaxy needs, she corrected. I laughed bitterly. And what do I get? She stepped closer than ever before. I felt the heat of her presence, the gravity of her attention. You get to live long enough to decide what kind of being you wish to be. That night, if it could be called night, I dreamed of stars screaming. The council found us. They always do. The Noctyrix shuddered as interdiction fields locked on, dragging us out of transit. The void filled with warships, their weapons primed, their crews terrified. Caliph stood at the viewport, calm as ever. They have come to kill me. And me? I asked. You are collateral. Alarms echoed through the ship as energy readings spiked. The crucible flared, its cracks spreading. You can't fight all of them, I said. I do not intend to, she replied. She turned to me. It is time. My chest tightened. Time for what? For you to choose. The crucible pulsed, responding to my presence. I felt it then, a resonance deep in my mind, a connection I couldn't explain. If I interface with it, I said slowly, what happens to me? You'll never be entirely human again, she said honestly. And you? She hesitated. I will be free. The implication hit me hard. You're asking me to take your place. I am asking you to share it, she said. Together, the burden becomes survivable. Outside, the first volley of weapons fire slammed against our shields. I thought of Earth, of my family, of the life I'd had before she appeared in the sky. I thought of the galaxy screaming. Okay, I said. She placed her hand over mine, guiding it toward the crucible. For a moment, our energies intertwined, predator and prey, monster and man. You were chosen, she said quietly, but I am grateful. I pressed my hand to the crystal. The universe exploded. I didn't die. I changed. The crucible opened, not breaking, but unfolding. The void choir recoiled, bound by a new harmony forged from two minds instead of one. I felt Caliph beside me, no longer alone. Outside, the warships powered down, their crews suddenly aware that something fundamental had shifted. When it was over, I collapsed. She caught me. Ending the galaxy would later argue about what I became. Some called me a god, others a monster. Most simply feared the title they gave us together, the Twin Wardens. Caliph was no longer the most dangerous being alive. We were. But danger, I learned, is not the same as evil. It is potential, shaped by choice, tempered by responsibility. She picked me not because I was strong or special or brave. She picked me because I could still choose to care. And in a universe full of extinction-level threats, that turned out to be the rarest power of all.